What is up, YouTube? James Baek here, and welcome back to another episode of VGC 2018 Baek Battles. Today, we are using the Mega Salamence team with Entei, Aegis/, Milotic, Tapu Bulu, and Tapu Koko. This is a team I did bring to a tournament at Aeon Gaming, which was a grassroots local tournament. Grand prize was a Nintendo Switch. I ended up placing in the top 4 and unfortunately falling, but this team has been pretty fun. If you want to go try out some other if you want to see some other videos of how the team plays, I will link them down below in the description. But otherwise, yes, this team has been pretty fun. It was more like of a common team when I was playing around, or when around the time of the tournament. Like, it was a team I just kept seeing on like Showdown and like 3 times on Battle Spot. So I was like, oh, I'll try this out because I've worked with some of these Pokemon before. I think they've been pretty solid, and I'm pretty interested to see how like Bulu fit onto the core. So tried it out here, and I started liking it. I really did like it. That's how I basically started with this team. But I just didn't like the sets people were running on it. Wanted to try out my own sets. As we find King Darius from the United States, 1671 rated player. With Gothmaw. Ooh, I love Gothmaw. Okay, we got Politoed, Ludicolo, Gothitelle, Mawile, the Tapu Bulu, and the Hydreigon. So Rain is always really interesting to play against. Yeah, Rain is always really interesting to play against. Kind of want to lead Aegis/, plus Bulu. Aegis/, plus Bulu does really well against my opponent's team. My Logic doesn't do well. I think Salamence plus Entei in the back is really solid against my opponent's team. Like, I think this is what I normally do against Gothmaw. I really haven't had too much experience with this matchup, with this team. Rain, I know I use Bulu most of the time with Koko, but I can't bring Koko in this matchup. Entei is good against the Mawile. Not sure if this one carries Rock Slide or not, so I got to be careful about that with the Entei. But we'll see how this goes here. Not sure if what you're gonna lead. Most people, when I played with the few Gothmaw teams I played for practice with this team, they usually led the Gothitelle Mawile lead. I don't think they led the Rain mode, so I'm not sure my opponent's going to do the same thing. But I'm just leaning Bulu just in case my opponent doesn't. As we got Hydreigon on top of Bulu leading. Okay. Aegis/, top of Bulu. I mean, King Shield is a very safe play here. That means my opponent either has Gothmaw in the back or Rain in the back. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to Superpower in King Shield. I'm going to see what my opponent wants to do here. Sludge Bomb is the only thing I'm worried about from Hydreigon, which could actually knock me out, but we'll see here. Going to be Flamethrower into the top of Blue Slot, which with my Assault Vest I should take. Yeah. And I do get Superpower off, which is nice. I'm pretty sure that's Scarf a Hydreigon. And I'm just able to knock out Hydreigon right away, which is great, because that's probably the main threat my opponent has to Aegis/, really. Like, my opponent doesn't deal with Aegis/ well. Double up, I'm guessing? Yeah, it's a Wood Hammer into that slot. So I could went for sub. I was maybe anticipating a double up, but I don't feel like it was the worst for me to get that. I guess I'll get Salamence in, because I get Intimidate off onto these Pokemon. Oh, it's going to come out. Okay, so you don't have Rain in the back. Beautiful. So I'll get Intimidate off. I can hard switch Salamence out in my Entei. Entei can do a lot of work here. I could throw off a Shadow Ball into the blue slot. I feel like you might bring Goth here. Although I think sub is just an overall, like, no drawback play, because my opponent really can't handle a sub well. And yeah, I'll just go out and Entei. I want to bring Salamence in because if it was in the Rain mode in the back, you can bring Poly and Ludi at the same time. So I'll have Salamence in, and Salamence dresses with a powerful double edge. It also got Intimidated off on these Pokemon as well. And if Gothitelle decides to come out instead of the Mawile, like, I would have threatened the blue slot with a double edge plus Shadow Ball combination, or the or also the Gothitelle. But this case works out too. No switch ups for my opponent, which works in my favor. Let's see what my opponent's gonna opt for. I could also see maybe Sucker Punch Bloomdoom trying to get rid of the Aegis/, because you don't really have a good matchup against it. As One Hammer's going to come out, which is fine. Into the Aegis/, not doing too much. What if it's a double up into the Aegis/ slot? Play rough. Okay, into the Entei, which is fine. And nice, no attack drop. So I get some nice recovery. And I don't see a problem with just going for Shadow Ball into the Tapu Bulu slot and protecting Entei. I feel like Entei is a threatening Pokemon you have to get rid of. Not sure how much Sacred Fire does to Tapu Bulu. Oh, should protect here, I would assume. Or switch out, which is fine too. Gothmaw gonna come out, okay. That works. Because I get free damage onto this Bulu, which is fine. It's a Rock Slide coming out, okay. I was more worried about Stone Edge and the Stone Edge crit, which is why I didn't want to go for like Sacred Fire into Mawile or Bulu, because they wouldn't pick up the knockout for sure. But now I can go for Shadow Ball Sacred Fire into Gothmaw, and I think that should pick up the knockout. Shadow Ball on the top of Bulu. That's AV Bulu for sure. In retrospect, I could also like try to Toxic maybe the Gothmaw and Sacred Fire to Bulu slot, which would be, well, the Gothmaw slot, which is also fine. Well, my Entei's not Intimidate or anything, so I think Sacred Fire plus Shadow Ball should knock out, and I don't think you protect Goth. Yeah, I don't think you don't. I think you try to get Trick him up. So I'm going to Sacred Fire, get a good amount of damage on Gothmaw. Wood Hammer going to come out into the Aegislash slot, okay. Which is fine, because if I knock out Gothmaw, that gets rid of the trap. I get the switch into my Salamence, which is really good. Shadow Ball. Should knock out Gothmaw, I think. Yeah, at that range, yep. So I do get rid of Gothmaw there. And getting rid of Gothmaw is just so good, because now my opponent is trapped in with both of his Pokemon. Yeah, like, this is looking really good. Mawile and Tapu Bulu are trapped in. The Tapu Bulu is at -1 already, as Mawile is going to come out. Nice. Don't see a reason not to go on a Salamence, I guess. And Wisp. Is there a way I can 100% win this game? Without having to risk a miss on anything. I think I'm just gonna no, I think I'm gonna switch on Immense here. And Sacred Fire the Bulu slot. Because I know Bulu can't protect for sure. Mawile at -1 can't knock me out. Worst case scenario, a miss and 2 crits from my opponent. And Sacred Fire is not going to knock out Mawile, which is why I'm fine with this play. Sucker Punch into Entei. Nice. Nice. Okay. Sacred Fire and a Bulu does pick up the knockout, and now it's Mawile versus my Salamence, my Entei, and my Aegislash. I can switch out Salamence, get another round of Intimidate, and honestly, I could Wisp the Mawile. Honestly, I don't see a reason not to Sacred Fire, because I'm pretty sure even if like I get crit Sucker Punch right here, like Salamence plus my Aegislash should be able to win this game anyway. With Mawile at -2, I could solve the Sucker Punches. Mawiles don't really carry knockoff. Or maybe it's foul play. Huge power foul play, I guess, could hurt. But you can only target down one of either Salamence or Aegislash. And Double Edge still does a lot to Mawile, so I think I'm still good. I mean, yeah. So I'll go Aegislash. Nice. Get Sacred Fire off. That should be game, because I get the chip I need to put it in range of anything. And I get the burn too, which doesn't really change much at this point. Play rough gonna go out on Aegislash. Doesn't do anything. Lowers my attack, but now I can sub up and could also double King Shoot. I could just just sub here. Sub Sacred Fire. Like I have this game sealed up anyway. There's nothing my opponent could do. Sucker Punch in Aegislash, it looks like. Do get rid of the Maul, and that's going to be a good game. So, yeah. Huge turn, I guess. Even if my opponent did read me turn 1, went for the Flamethrower into the Bulbasaur, but just me being able to pick up that knockout onto the Hydreigon tournament was absolutely huge because my opponent then didn't have a really good way to hit the Aegislash. Aegislash was just able to do so much against my opponent's team at that point of the game. And then, like, Entei was pretty good against my opponent since my opponent didn't bring the rain mode. And Salamence was also pretty good, getting that intimidated off. The Gothmaw was brought out instead of Mawile. That second turn, I could have just doubled up the Mawile. I mean, the Gothmaw slot either way. Double Edge plus Shadow Ball should still be able to knock out the Mawile, even if Bula switches out on the Mawile. So yeah, my opponent really didn't have many good switches. And yeah, I just controlled the pace of the game with that turn 1, I felt like. As we got our first opponent of the day, Red Demon VGC with a Butterfree. Alright, we got Charizard, Landorus, Butterfree, Tapu Lele, Cresselia, and Muk. Butterfree gets Compound Eyes, and it gets Sleep Powder, Tail, and Rage Powder. Don't know how I feel about this team. I do like Entei-Milotic a lot, though, in this. Yeah. Coco. I really like Aegislash. Aegislash does so well. I want to bring Mence, though, or Intimidate, because the Muck could get a bit annoying as well as the Landorus. It's gonna suck not having a good switch into the it's gonna absolutely suck not having a good switch in against the Lele, especially if it's Scarf. If it's Scarf Lele, that's gonna be really hard to deal with. So let's see what my opponent's gonna bring out. Muck Tapu Lele. So Lena at the Tapu Lele right off the bat. That's a fast Lele. It's either Timid or Scarf. I can confirm that. Don't feel like my Milotic's a threat. I feel like you should be targeting out my Entei no matter what. I'm just gonna Icy Wind here. My Milotic's really only here for a Landorus lead. And since my opponent didn't bring Landorus, I feel like it's fine here. We'll find out what my opponent's gonna do. Psychic into the Entei. I feel like Entei was a bigger threat to you. Icy Wind. Damage onto all the Pokemon, and a knockoff into my Milotic. Gets rid of my Adrenaline Orb, which is fine here. Sacred Fire into Scald should knock out the Lele. If it's Scarf, it outspeeds my Milotic, but Psychic won't be able to pick up a knockout. We're going to see the switch out into the Cresselia, which is fine here, okay? So I get a lot of damage onto Cresselia. I also get some good chances to burn. That did nothing. That really did nothing. Yeah, like this, when the Skull does more than Sacred Fire, you know there's a problem. Poison Jab gonna go into my Milotic. Really aggressively getting rid of my Milotic. Leftovers Cresselia. Is this Calm Mind potentially? I think it might be Calm Mind. I'm gonna go Tapu Koko and Volt Switch. I could also Electrium Z the Cresselia, because since I think it would pick up the knockout. I could also just Sacred Fire. I just don't want to switch into Ice Beam potentially. I could also Wisp the I like Wisping the Muckmore and Gigavolt Havoc the Cresselia. I want to get rid of that Cresselia. All Mine's a threat. Ooh, you protect too. Gigavolt Havoc's gonna knock out that Cresselia. So I'll take the trade, because if I'm getting rid of Cresselia, which is threatening my Salamence, I am gladly okay with that. I am gladly okay with that. Gigavolt Havoc. Should knock out Cresselia. Like, that Cresselia took so much from Scald, and it looks like max physical defense. Yeah, I get rid of Cresselia. Nice. Like I got Cresselia, that means no Calm Mind. That means Mence has a lot easier of a time against my opponent's team. Still worried about the Lele. Landorus, okay. That's actually perfect for me. It's actually perfect for me because now I can switch out of my Salamence, and I think I just click. Click. I'm gonna click Wisp. Guaranteed get the burn. Yeah. And like, it's looking really good for me to Dragon Dance up against my opponent. Like, it's looking really good to do that. Have you seen the Z move yet? I'm guessing it's on the Lele. Could be on the Landers though. Although Burn, I don't know. Burn plus -1, I don't think he would knock out Entei. And I'm definitely faster than any form of Landers that's not Scarf. So we find out if you're Scarf now. We don't. Okay, you're not Scarf because Coco switched out first. Okay, that works. Lele gonna come out. We get a Wisp onto the Lele. What's Muck go for? Knockoff into my Poison Jab. Okay. I just don't know if this is Scarf or not. If it's Scarf Lele, that makes it really difficult. If it's not, like, I just don't know. I think I'm gonna Wisp the Muck. Go out in a Coco. Because this allows me to live any form of combination, and I get a burn on a Muck, which makes it easier for my Salamence to set up potentially. I just don't know what's going on. Muck is gonna protect. I should Sacred Fire to Lele, but that works too. Moonblast's gonna come out. I'm gonna find out if your Specs or Scarf now. Your Scarf. I think your Scarf. I think you have to be Scarf. I'm just gonna Sacred Fire to Lele and protect. I think you're Scarf at this point. I think I'm gonna switch out Lele into Landers. Yeah. So I need to find an opportunity to Dragon Dance because that's how I'm gonna win this game. Unfortunately, my Entei's at -2, which sucks for me, but it's not the worst case. Protect. If I got a burn on Landers, this would be great. Shadow Sneak couldn't come out. Okay. Sacred Fire. No burn. I'll go for the Wisp here. Should I Sacred Fire? Nah, I don't want to catch a Rock Slide. I'm gonna go to Salamence. Let's see my opponent doubles again. Because I need to get Salamence in a position where I can Dragon Dance once. If it Dragon Dances once, that's game. Okay, my opponent stays in, which is nice, because Shadow Sneak. And I'm guessing Rock Slide here, so... Oh, that sucks for me. Okay, that's not too bad. That absolutely sucks. You're a -1. You're going to be burned. I would have been able to pick a knockout on you. I mean, yeah, that really sucks. And that would have been great for the late game, too, because now... Yeah, that really sucks. Like, even if you got the crit, even if you were burned, like, that would just help me so much in the end game. Coco. Protect. Dragon Dance. No, not Roost. Dragon Dance. And I also have to take a bunch of recoil later in the game, too. I mean, Muck's not switching out, which is a good thing. Landers is at -1. Muck is at -2. Landers is going to protect. Okay. You have Ice Punch on Muck? I don't think you do. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. I'll take this. I'll take this turn 100%. I just don't want to take the recoil yet. Which is what's sucking for me right now. I'm going to Gleam Roost. Because I don't want to take all the recoil yet. Shadow Snake's going to come out. That's not going to knock out Coco. Yeah. I Roost so I take less damage from the Rock Slide as well as take less recoil from the Landers by weakening it. Then I Double Edge. Ooh, Coco voiced the Rock Slide. That's helpful. That's really helpful. I'll just protect Double Edge because there's nothing my opponent really can do to stop me right here. Even if you protect Landers, even if you switch out Muck, that doesn't change anything because I could just Double Edge to the Lele and single target Gleam should knock out Landers. So not much my opponent can really do. Shadow Snake and Coco, yep, that's fine. Get Double Edge off into Landers. Beats down the Landers, and now it's the Lele versus Lele Muck versus my Coco plus my Salamence. The recoil is gonna hurt me. I mean, even Scarf Lele, I shouldn't be taking too much recoil. I definitely knock out Lele 100% with a Double Edge. I should just Gleam just to be safe. I mean, I don't need Thunderbolt damage on the Muck anyway, because Double Edge is just going to destroy Muck anyway. And I might even put it out of its berry range. Shadow Sneak? Okay. Are they gonna go down? Nice. I mean, that's 100% game there then. So I get a Gleam off. Puts it in the berry range, but Thunderbolt plus Double Edge should just be able to knock out Muck. I think Double Edge itself might be able to pick up knockout on Muck. So, yeah. I feel like I had the end game right. It was just, it made it difficult. Like, if I burned Landers, like, it would have been a whole lot easier to set up, but I had to risk basically going for Roost on that one turn. And basically, that one Roost, if my opponent just hard switched in a Lele, it could have just been game. It could have just absolutely been game. And that was like the one thing. It gave my opponent an opening. If I burned the Landers, like, that just allowed me to Dragon Dance straight up instead of having to being forced to go for Roost. Because if my opponent went for, like, Rock Slide plus Poison Jab, if I tried to Dragon Dance at, like, that 90-something HP I was at and got poisoned or crit, I would have been over. If that Landers was burned, like, different story. I could easily Dragon Dance up, could Roost later. Like, wasn't too difficult. But yeah, that made the game a bit harder. But luckily, my opponent didn't get to capitalize off that. So yeah, gonna be able to pick up a win there, and we'll go for one more game here. But yeah, luckily Dragon Dance Man's coming in clutch right there. Also, the Rock Slide I'll miss on Coco. I guess it really didn't matter technically in the end because I think Salamence was still going to win the end game. I guess I gave my opponent one less chance to crit maybe with the Muck, but I don't think that would change much in the game, to be honest. As we got Relina from the United States of Florida. Persian, Tapu Fini, Landers, Fairy, Tapu Koko, Cresselia, and Charizard. Interesting. How do I want to approach this matchup, I guess is the question. Persian's actually really difficult for my team to handle. Sorry about the cough. It's like, you bring Landers in this matchup? I don't think you do. You might. I'm not sure if you would. The four Pokemon I'm liking are Entei, Coco, Bulu for the Landers, and the Tapu Fini and the Tapu Koko and Salamence. Milotic only really helps with Landers, but with Charizard Y it makes things a bit more difficult. Aegislash, good against Cresselia, could maybe Toxic Shoutable Stall. I don't like it against Charizard Y, Persian, and Calm Mind Fini potentially. So I'm gonna leave that behind. I'm gonna go with these four. I feel like these four can allow me to clean up the game, but we'll see what my opponent decides to lead here. I don't think you lead Landers against my team. With this team, I feel like it's gonna be like Persian Fini, Persian Zard, maybe Coco plus Persian, maybe Charizard plus Coco. Charizard plus Coco could be scary, I guess. But then again, I have Electrium Z for the Charizard, and you can't target it down. You can't knock out my Coco in one turn anyway. So we'll see how this goes. What do I expect my opponent to lead? Also, I guess the question is, does the Persian carry Feint? That's definitely a potential option. Persian, Alola Persian, not really seen much in VGC 18. It does have a lot of potential though. Foul Play does a lot. It has Feint, Quash, Taunt, Knockoff, Parting Shot, which is pretty cool. We're gonna see Coco Persian. Okay. Entei plus my Coco. Switch out my Entei. Go on to Bulu. Bulu's gonna be able to eat, and I get a Gleam off. This covers a Lander switch. It gets damage off. It covers a Fake Out. Only thing it doesn't cover is like a Twinkle Tackle. If it's Z Nature's Power on Coco, which I think it is, maybe. I think it's Normalium Z Coco with like Z Nature's Power, maybe. I could definitely see that as a set. It could just be standard Coco 2 with Electrium. Let's find out. Fake Out into Coco. Yep. Didn't want to take a Feint. I'd rather take this. It is a Z move coming out. Is that Electrium? Is Electrium. And I'm pretty sure that's going to go out into my Entei, to be honest. Because I feel like Entei might be the bigger threat here. World Havoc. This targets out my Coco, doesn't knock out, but still. Okay, yeah, it's in my Bulu, okay. Perfect, I waste my opponent's Z move, and yeah, I don't take much at all. Zard could come in, but that's fine. I don't know if you risk Zard here, to be honest. I'm gonna Horn Leech the Persian slot, and I'm just gonna Gleam, because I want damage on that Persian very hard. I think Coco might switch out into Zard, or stay in, okay. I'm surprised my opponent risked the Coco right there, but that works too. It's a berry on Persian. It's a Roselli berry. Foul play, okay. Does that double up into Coco? No. Trying to damage the Bulu. I get the Horn Leech off into Persian, which doesn't KO but puts in Gleam range. And then with Grassy Terrain, I should be able to heal with Coco to a point where Gleam shouldn't knock me out. Yeah. Even with Feint, I don't think it picks up the knockout. Now I can just Horn Leech Gleam. That was interesting. Trying to weaken my team, I guess, but like, now I get a double knockout potentially. And yeah, I don't see a reason not to just Gleam, don't see a reason not to just Gleam here. Yeah, it is Feint, okay. But yeah, that's not going to pick up the knockout. Unless you crit. Yeah, perfect. So I get the knockout Persian, I get a Horn Leech, knockout Coco, and my opponent's down 4v2. I have recovery with my Bulu, which is nice, and I have my Z move still intact, so I can give World Havoc my opponent's Charizard, which is most likely in the back, I would assume. I wonder if it's Landorus in the back. If it's Landorus, I would assume it's Scarf. That's the only thing that's threatening me, Scarf Rock Slide. That's the only thing I really see that's super scary for this endgame that could potentially be. Charizard. Landorus. Yeah. Like, that's what I basically expected here. For the back. I don't want to risk Zard getting a Tailwind up. I'm actually going to go hard into Salamence and Gigavolt Havoc the Charizard slot in case Charizard doesn't protect here and it's not Scarf Landorus. Only way Landorus can knock me out is with Scarf Rock Slide, but even then, like, Scarf Rock Slide, I feel like I'm in an okay position. Maybe Sacking Bulu would have been the better play, but I don't want him to get a free Tailwind up because a free Tailwind, if it isn't Scarf Landorus, like, it just makes things a lot harder. Which is why I'm going to risk my Coco right here. I don't need Coco in the endgame anyway. Salamence will also get Intimidated off into this Landorus, which might allow me to live a Rock Slide. If it's Scarf, we'll find out. Charizard going to Mega Evolve. It is Charizard Y. Gigavolt Havoc should be able to pick up a knockout onto Zard if it does connect. I would assume Charizard's either... I think you are attacking here with like a Heat Wave or Flamethrower. Nice. Okay, so it's not Scarf Landorus, or it's super slow Scarf, which doesn't make much sense. So, Gigavolt Havoc going to come out, and this should be able to knock out Charizard, unless it's like super bulky. Which is why I wanted to say my Z move overall in the game. So Gigavolt Havoc into Charizard. Yep, does pick up the knockout, and now it's Landorus with a 4v1 situation. Just gonna Earthquake, okay. So Earthquake gonna knock out my Tapu Koko, but now I could just easily, I think I could go out into my Bulu. I could go on Entei. I think Entei's fine here. I think I just drew off a Double Edge plus Sacred Fire. Double Edge might just be able to knock out that Landorus anyway, depending on its set, like how bulky it is. And yeah, I don't really see ways my opponent can really check the maybe Rock Slide, crit, flinch, crit. Well, it has to double crit these Pokemon. It has to avoid my Sacred Fire, first of all. First, it has to live the Double Edge. Then it has to double crit me. Because you can't flinch my Entei since it's faster than Jolly Lando. Yeah, almost missed. Almost pick up that knockout, Sacred Fire. It does connect, and that's going to be a good game. So, I'm going to be able to pick up, I think that's 3 wins in today's episode. Yeah. It was Gothmaw in the first game. Second game was the Butterfree team. Third game was this. But I hope everyone did enjoy today's episode of VGC 2018 Back Battles. I felt like that game, like it could have gone differently. Maybe my opponent tried to readjust the board position with like Parting Shot and like hard switch outs. Felt like maybe my opponent could have done that. Not sure. Like just getting damage off when you really don't need damage in the first place kind of confused me, to be honest. Because I felt like Landorus could have been a very safe switch in. Because like, especially if you Parting Shot like my Bulu in that position, I felt like Landorus was. Like, I wouldn't have been doing too much. You could readjust your person's board position. You could have Koko later in the game, which could have been really good for sweeping. But, yeah. Like, I could understand you not trying to switch in Charizard there. Because, like, Parting Shot ever in a Charizard. Because, like, if Blue carries Rock Slide and I Stone Edge catch that Charizard on the switch in, that would be really bad for my opponent. So, I could imagine not going into Charizard, but I felt like Landorus might have just been a safe play, especially if you Parting Shot. Maybe it was AV Persian? We never saw its item. Maybe that explains it. Maybe if it was AV Persian. But otherwise, I can't really think of much. But I hope everyone enjoyed today's episode. If you did, leave a like down below. Show some support. As well as you can check out my other stuff down below. My social media. And all that good stuff down below. If you missed a previous episode of Back Battles, there's a playlist down below. Try out the pace spin of the team. But otherwise, have a great day, people. I'll catch you around in another video.